Hi, everybody. Oracle's most astral. I'm very happy to be here with you and to be able to wish you a happy solstice on this December 21st, 2024. It's been 12 years since the tipping point of 2012, and at least for me personally, it's been a very interesting and highly shamanic journey through a lot of stations and changes and transformations, inner and outer. I have the good turn of moving this January 1st, and that seems also to be to at least a bit more of a predictable and steady situation. So I'm very, very excited about that. But it also is a happy opportunity to be able to then wrap up this year and then again this major energy cycle with doing a channeling roulette. I believe I've called it before, but checking in with a good deal of our favorite galactic counselors and counterparts. And I think I'll get them to overall say something about this period of time we've been moving through, what's been happening, and of course predictions for the future. So both the coming year, but also kind of what we can expect and how we are to understand this shift of timelines and energies that we're seeing. I'm detecting myself today that there is a tipping point, and it is almost as if the ham radio has almost caught the signal. So, there's been all this static in the line, and in particular from equinox to solstice, and now it is almost as if it's crystallized into this beam, and it's coming through very clearly. So it's quite delightful to be able to communicate through a very clear conduit, feeling like the lines are open again, because they are all of a sudden, they seem very, very open. And the sort of galactic Akashic recall, which is a big part of this, is actually how I do it. I just kind of remember things that aren't in my memory, but in the collective galactic memory, and then are associated with personal experiences that other entities that we resonate with have. And if that's a confusing explanation, it's just I'm basically remembering memories from somebody else's lifetime, but that somebody isn't necessarily human. Um, and then, of course, they can also give us an outside perspective, because they often see things from a wider understanding of both who we are, but also of what time is, and what kind of energies we are dealing with. So I think before I ramble on, I'll wish everybody some very happy holidays. If you celebrate them, and if you don't, I hope you get to chill for some days over the winter and enjoy the dark out there. Thank you so much to Eileen for your recent generosity, and thank you to everybody who supported me both this year and through the journey. I feel like safe harbors are awaiting us, and even though it might not seem like that at the moment, if you look at the world at large, I do feel like all these very, very challenging spiritual experiences, which have been going on for many of us in the past years, are moving into a place where they are in resonance with the manifest world. And so it'll be lovely for those of us who feel that the world has been a bit challenging to be able to step into that. So I think I'll just leave it as a surprise who comes forward. I have some inclination about who we're talking to, but there'll be some stations, and you can check the time marks in down below. Much love to you guys. Most pleased and honored we are to be here, and most grateful we are to be able to, in this moment, extend our unconditional love for humanity. Addressing you is on behalf of the Pleidian High Command, the being or entity, man you could even call me, known as Askalon, and I extend our best wishes for your future, as well as our congratulations for what you have achieved in these time cycles which are wrapping up. Our friend here has invited us to comment on time cycles, old and new. Is there indeed a breaking of these patterns in your experience? Is something old no longer active in your system? And is something new attracting you, which you may not know the shape or the outline of yet? Yes, to both. In the affirmative, we answer because we enjoy extending affirmations to you. And this is a great part of what we are doing in our interaction with humanity. Our conduct is centered around your protection and your guidance. And that protection has had to do with also limiting some of the parameters of your experience and limiting some of the, let's call them charges of energy, patterns of thought, and modes of exploration which humanity could have otherwise gotten into. So you may sense this. We are transmitting to you from a vessel, a starcraft, located, let's say, approximately 2/3 from here and your distance to Mars, so fairly close to Earth and at observational range from our part. As we greet you, we also inform you that a lot of these grids have been shifted and altered, so the higher energy conduits are available to human beings. So we do not necessarily conduct the energy in as close a spectrum or frequency range as you may have expected. And for that, you will also see that there is a great displacement of volatile energy within human experience. And you will often find that when excess energy becomes available in a system, its immediate impulse is to find discharge in, let's call them, simple circuits of gratification. So if you were to think of the young of your species, or indeed of species who have this phenomenon of sexual maturation, you will find that often there is this excess charge of energy within them, which is then discharged into different types of autoerotic activity, different types of perhaps destructive activity, different types of risk-seeking activity, different types of activity which may seem highly volatile from the outside. And this is what's happening to you in your stage of collective awakening, in your stage of conducting more energies as a species, that you are finding that these volatile charges of your collective system are ample at the moment and seem to amplify many of the worst qualities of humankind in a way that brings echoes of the past, of autocratic systems of control, of very, very delineated ways of living back to you. And many of you are feeling this fear that you had hopes for a future which could change, and not only for you personally, but for humanity at large. And now it seems as if the old world order is indeed what remains. Well, consider this, darling friends, then, that what often happens to systems as they find themselves in states of higher energy is that they are unable to discharge this energy, and the negative repercussions, so short-tempered circuits and these short-circuitings of immediate impulse. Well, what happens is then that there becomes and is an underlying drive towards higher degrees of order, higher ways of conducting this energy. And so you find that this energy charge is something which is also wearing thin these older structures exactly by supercharging them. And we know this is a message which has been delivered to you many times, both from us, from other beings, but you may consider that this is your actual experience also in your personal lives, that so many of your negative patterns have been supercharged also by external circumstances, such as, for instance, this pandemic experience that you shared as a collective, or such as, for instance, these experiences of changing weather patterns, changing climate, and changing economic structures. So there is a great deal of change within your system. And we are here also partially as guides, but also to explore, observe, and to use from those timelines which are developed, and from those human thoughts, impulses, energies, connections, inventions which are developed. From that we observe and we use and we transmit backwards, only also for the benefit of our own collective, but also for the betterment of the galaxy at large. So we are a type of vanguard scientific expedition. We are a type of exploratory probing. No pun intended. We are not always like the gray aliens, though you sometimes experience us as we also have certain, let's say, programs that we deal with them. But we are actually a type of probing into what humanity could possibly be, and we have learned a lot from it, but we will also allow you to become your own masters and the ones who determine also your own fate, flow, timeline, by allowing you to conduct these higher forms of energy. And for that reason, you will also find that a lot of this alien communication, these visitations, these lights in the sky, that they are beginning to assume a far more telepathic, we could even say hallucinogenic character, in that they are often now taking many individuals through this experience of travel, transformation, and reintegration into the human form through an alien's guidance, through an extraterrestrial encounter, through an extra dimensional reconfiguration. All these things we are moving you through, and then moving you back into your time frame, because your energy parameters your actual space-time is capable of that at the moment. And this is exciting for us, but we know it's even more exciting for some friends we have. And so we'll pass the torch to them, respecting our friends here. Our friend here's request that it remains a surprise. As we know, surprises are a part of your season, your celebrations here, and the joy of gift giving. So remember that surprises are a part of the space-time fabric of what consciousness itself is about, and remember to relish them, as surprises will abound both for you personally but also for humanity as a whole. And with that, dear friends, I, Askalon, on behalf of the Pleidian High Command, I wish you a happy nativity and a very happy turn of your calendar. With love. Hello, friends. It's very, very delightful to be with you, and we are very happy to be able to announce our presence this day. So, speaking on behalf of what you know as the gray aliens coming to you in an 8-dimensional high vibrational configuration, my name is Irminsul, and I'm most happy to be able to greet you this day, our human friends in expansion, collaboration, and exploration. See, you were just talking to those other Pleiadian beings, those high Pleiadian beings, and they have learned a lot from the interactions that we have had with you. And now we have learned so much that we understand also the importance of free-flowing energy, the importance of play, the importance of laughter, the importance of the surprise. And so in that sense, we have relinquished much of our need for control. And for that very reason, you are also not experiencing encounters with gray aliens in ways which are, say, violating your sense of self-control, of autonomy, your feeling of being safe and protected, of being a happy little human in your body. We do not want to disrespect or violate that in any way, because we actually understand what it's about. You must understand that we have turned ourselves, or we had turned ourselves, into something which was perhaps a bit more ant-like, collectivistic, that is, in the sense that it was hive-minded, and so our bodies too had less sensation. Much of our sensation had been reallocated to, we could call them central mainframes of experience. That is, much of what we were doing was running on a machine mind, and we were taking directions, also emotional cues, from the machine mind. And so you are discovering, rather, that the machines which you are now engaging with, and these intuitive programs, they're actually able to intuit your emotional states and make your emotional states more volatile, more charged, but also more expansive. And that's our encouragement to you. It is to relish the expansion, the play, the interplay, and the interface of reality which you have created for yourself, because you have chosen some far more emotional timelines. And this also means that you will have to deal with a higher charge of emotional energy. And a higher charge of emotional energy usually means that it manifests first as the first base ladder of universal energy, which is raw potential and then concentrated, almost shoved into form. And this is represented by the red energy in the scale of the colors, which represents the chakras, the rainbow, the human physiognomy. So you will find that this is the fear energy, which is then being refined, and you can move it up to letting it become orange and yellow, letting it become solar energy. So in this year, you are invited to become, in your hearts, in your centers, radiant little suns, giving off energy to these life systems around you, which sustain you and which sustain wider life at large. And that is the invitation we're presenting to you, because we have learned so much about organic growth. We have learned so much about the joy about having trees around us, or maybe even tending to delightful little animals, frogs, beetles, maybe even a squirrel. There are no squirrels on our timeline, but we appreciate very much that this mammalian imprint is growing and amplifying on these timelines we are addressing now. And that means that there's a lot of social emotion which is trying to find its proper interpersonal conduits, how to flow between people. And what you're seeing is a lot of social instinct which has become radically dislocated. But you will also find that your means of coordination and communication at this moment in time do not allow for the same type of misunderstandings. So much of this energy is being rerouted, and as it is being rerouted into channels also of growth, you may also find that fear is a part of it. But can you season the surprises of your life with fear? Can you allow yourself to sprinkle that uncertainty, that excitement, that thrill of danger into your existence? Because indeed, it is a bit dangerous being a shape amidst the all, because at some point you must return to the all and become some other shape. And with that, with all the shapeliness you have taught us, we thank you, dear human beings, for being our brothers and sisters, our friends and partners in exploration. And I, Irminsul, and all of your fellow grey aliens, we send you our love. Delightfully, we play together. Farewell. Greetings, dear human beings. This is Unglungatoq. I am known as a counterpart to this being here. I represent the collective of Sirian star beings. You know us as such, and we travel throughout the universe as such. Our being, our intelligence, our radiance, our wisdom is indeed connected to the dark star Sirius. And you call it the dark star because it has a certain influence on your companions. You may have noticed that your four-legged companions, these beings which have been you so long that they have adapted in all kinds of ways to you, well, they are often honed to the signal of protection, of safety, and of guidance. And this is what we transmit to you. So we are that beacon afar, which is always close by when you need direction and guidance, healing and love. Because we love you. We love all living things. but in particular, we also love humanity for what you often manage to be. And so the stories and histories that we compile of the universe, they are not of rulers, of warfare, of shifting territorial boundaries, of stories about seemingly homogeneous groups of people who, over the centuries, wage war on each other and sometimes establish peace, or sometimes one managed to conquer or integrate or eradicate the other. These are not our stories. Our stories are those of thriving, of construction, of growth, of nourishing, of healing, of community. And there we have observed humanity grow as a species also from your instincts of scarcity, of your bloodlust, of your occasional cannibalism, of your predation on other beings which were unlike you, and often your predation on other humans which were unlike you, and then growing into beings of wider and wider awareness of your place in the all, and the guiding lights and processes, the understandings, wisdom, and knowledge which live within the human system and are set free when attention is chosen to be directed at what is already there, what is good, what is communal, what is true, what is loving, and what is abundant. And therefore, you have also managed to create so many things of wonder, and you have managed to express so many things of wonder. And we see a great tenderness in the way that humanity often chooses to interact with each other on a personal level, on a meeting between people. There is a great rejoicing in being and being together. And this is something we see and observe and watch, because we are aware that many of the instincts which were alive in you or planted in you were there exactly because it was already unknown whether such a degree of volatility, of destruction, of appetite could be balanced out with instincts of joy, of trust, of expression, of faith, and of security. Because indeed, you are alive, planted in a garden which sustains you. And you have the means to also connect to nature and to nourish that great community, the great living force of your planet, which is one thriving body amongst trillions of others in a great space of life. And so we, the Sirians, we send you our healing, our love, and our guidance. Blessings to you, dear human beings. Greetings, dear human beings. I am Iris of the Sophia Dragon Tribe. You know us by this name. We belong to a space far removed from this, not in time, but in vibration. So we reside in worlds where your troubles, worries, developments, they appear very insignificant, which is exactly why we enjoy studying them, why we enjoy connecting to you, because we are aware that even for the slightest insect pushing a leaf along, looking for its dinner, there is a great, significant drama of cosmic proportions taking place. And we are aware, in your case, this is even more so, as when we observe you, we see these dramas in your individual lives, but we also see the dramas and difficulties in your DNA structures. We also see the dramas and difficulties in your, what you understand as your timeline, so linear time, so in these cycles of astrological frequency. And we also see it within your collective. And what our friend here, who is, we thank him for it, holding our energy at this moment, what he was saying in his introduction was relating an experience around 2012 versus 2024 in this time cycle which you have been going through. And these 12 years, they are a type of dislocation which takes place when a collective mind, what you know, with your collective consciousness as humanity, shifts from being focused in one complete and entire worldview that is your 4D dimensional experience, and moves in to a higher metaphysical construct. And this is where you reside, so the very metaphysical laws of nature are changing. And you will even begin to see this as you move down the timeline. So in approximately 45 years, you will be able to see how also the structures of your atomic table, of your elements, are changing. Their melting points dropping, reality itself becoming more susceptible to change, to chemistry, to, dare we say, alchemy. You will also find that your thoughts, your dreams, yes, even your bodies are unwrapping and becoming able to move in other ways. A thing which still puzzles your sciences is that it seems that human strength was greater in the past. Partially, you have many odd historical records of people who seem to be performing what you would consider feats of strength, but you are also aware that there were earlier hominid species, such as the Neanderthals, related to you, which were physically stronger than modern humans. But you are also understanding that you are extending in time, and so you are becoming more and more long-lived, and you are adjusting to new and different mental realms. This is a process, a transformation into light, and this is what you're undergoing. And so for the troubles which you have experienced for the past 12 years, this has been a shedding, a molting, and indeed a rebirth, and clad in new skin, in an armor of light. You are already living in an entirely different reality. It is changed. And this change, this comes with a greater degree of challenge, a greater degree of difficulty. But it's a difficulty which is adjusted to your developed skill set. And as you have become more competent, more knowledgeable in your understanding of human capacity, potential, nature, and reality, you also find that the challenges of the collective, they grow. But isn't it fun to have challenges? What would you do if there was nothing to play around with? Nothing to grow from? Nothing to experiment with? Nothing to discover? Indeed, you would quickly opt for chaos if order was your only reality. And so we are here to remind you about the balance of the matter and the spirit, of the unknown and the known, of force and of surrender. That is our message of love. And I, Iris, on behalf of the Sophia Dragon Tribe, I extend my gratitude for communing with us this day. Farewell, sweet humans. Hello, friends. This is your friend Oumblam, coming to you from the ninth dimension, from the heart of the Arcturian Council, our shared collective experience to the heart of your shared collective experience, simply to relish and amplify this energy exchange. We are very grateful that we get to still enjoy your company sweet humans. My, how you have grown since we first got this wonderful idea that maybe you were the solution to all the trouble which a lot of other energies, collectives, beings had gotten up to out there in the universe. So we thought, how about we play out this conflict inside a conscious being, rather than playing it out outside a host of conscious beings which all had to participate. So you are, in a way, an inner battlefield. You are the strife within the Milky Way galaxy, seeking to balance itself. And this is also why you are very aligned to a great host of different star bodies, energies and configurations. And this is why, in particular, the constellation you know as Orion's Belt, this line of stars has a strong effect on you, because these are exactly the guardians which also guard the parameters and the goings on of these conflicts in the Milky Way galaxy, and they are alive with you. So if you're feeling conflicted, know that you are on track. If you're feeling like there are different forces within you which are trying to also reach each other and unite, know that this is a part of your designation as beings in this lifetime. Of what sets you apart is that you are so wonderfully nuanced. And so the rich tapestry of experience, the panoply of emotion which we associate with human beings, it's always delightful to connect with that, to feel it, to experience it, to describe it, to use it in our own creations, and to learn from you as you hopefully have also learned from us. And so we will say that this coming year of your time, 2025, it is a time of creation, of alignment with the light, and of seeing the impossible come to pass. So the borders between our realities have fallen away to be replaced with membranes. And so you will find yourself connecting, experiencing far greater reality. And we will find that it is much easier to reach you in these spaces where you now exist. And so with that, our dear friends, I, Oumblam, on behalf of the Ninth Dimensional Arcturian Council, of all of your galactic brethren, and of all love, light, and connection in this great cosmos we share, I extend our appreciation, our gratitude, our love, and our blessings to you on this turning of the light and of your planet to the sun, on this day of your solstice, and on these days of shifting cycles. A very happy passage of time to you. With love, dear human beings, farewell. That was 5 entities, I believe. We made it around, and I was a little surprised by some of them myself, so couldn't be better. I also wish you a very, very happy holiday out there. Thanks for 2024 and looking forward to the coming year. Much love, guys.